Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do another cinema review, this time on a TV show on Netflix called Locke Key. Locke Key is a TV show about a family whose father dies and then they move out of Seattle and they go move into their family house. It's a huge mansion in a completely different area. It's called Key House. It's a house that's full of keys. Who'da thunk that? But these keys do magical things. The keys call out to the kids and the kids find them and find out that they do incredible magical things. Follows a family comprised of Tyler, Kinsey, Bodie, and their mother and uncle, and it's in this kind of run-of-the-mill town with a run-of-the-mill school. It just feels normal, but it's not. History behind this town is pretty wild, and the things that happen didn't happen exactly the way that they were reported. Locke Key was a comic book that was adapted to screen. I looked through the list of actors and actresses and writers and directors because I like having that information. Didn't recognize any of them besides Iceman from X-Men and the creepy freaking kid from It. So before I dive into the 6 things that make a cinema piece great, let's talk about a couple of the highlights that I really enjoyed about it. So I really liked the music in this show. A lot of times music can pull you out of a show or a movie. In this show, it kind of made you feel the emotions even deeper, and I really enjoyed that. So the music was spot on. Some of the shots, the camera shots, were really intriguing and interesting. I call to mind one scene where Bodie is, I think he's wearing Heelys or something, and he's going through the house and the camera just follows right alongside it. It's super cool. I don't know, I just really liked it. All of the characters and the storyline, everything in this show is super compelling and intriguing, and I was a big fan of the things that happened. The pacing was really well done. It's easily a bingeable TV show, but the pacing's really good. It didn't feel like there was a single filler episode. There was one episode that I wasn't particularly fond of just because it was a little, it was just barely less than the rest of the episodes. But for the most part, this whole series was really well done. So without further ado, let's dive into the 6 things that make a television show great. The plot. So the plot of this show really is about the kids discovering the keys and discovering the history of their family and what happened to their dad, and the inclusion of all these different factors on top of being normal kids who just had their dad die. Like, it's very well done. There's nothing forced in this show. It really just stands alone as its own thing. This show does a great job of keeping escapism at the core of why you're there. The plot was great, it was compelling, it made sense, and I have to give it a huge thumbs up. Family friendliness. The target demographic of this show is teens and young adults. They do a really good job of staying within the boundaries of what that encapsulates, because there's not a ton of cursing, there's no sexuality, it's very minimal. The only thing that I would say, if you're reading through the show and you're kind of like, the trigger word, you know, demon's a trigger word, where there's demons in this show, but they're not demonic. I don't really know how to say that, but basically it's just really a filler word they use in place of what they could have called something else to describe someone who's in the show. So I'd give a thumbs up to family friendliness. I would let my kids watch this show. It's really good. Acting and script. Both of those were really well done in this TV series. I was a big fan, even though I didn't recognize pretty much all of the actors and actresses. It was really believable. Everything they did had a purpose, and it was really believable that all these people just know each other. The on-screen chemistry between all of these people was really well done. And I gotta give a big shout out to the script writers, because they're adapting this from a comic book, and the comic book is great, but adapting it into a 10-episode TV series for Netflix can be pretty difficult. And so they did a great job of making that all flow. There was nothing forced, there was no weird dialogue. It all made sense and worked fine. So big thumbs up for acting and script. Character development. Here we go, baby. It was very well done, and it was in huge part to the actors and actresses and the script, but the character development was amazing. Like, in some, especially as of late, cinema has been terrible about character development, And it's more about pushing something than it is about developing characters in a believable way. You really understand and can sympathize with this family who just lost their father, and the interactions between the siblings. Both Tyler and Kinsey both have a really believable brother-sister relationship, and their relationship with their younger brother Bodhi, it is all believable. It's just so well done. It's like they literally look to how things are in real life and we're like, we'll make it this way, which kind of seems obvious, but a lot of shows are like, we're gonna do it this way, and you're like, yeah, I've never seen that happen ever, so I don't believe that. Especially something that really hit home for me was the relationship with their mom. This show tackles some pretty mature topics when it comes to relationships and family relationships. And so when you see the way that these kids, how they love their mom, but they also know that she is really hurting after losing her husband in a very weird way, I love it. It's realistic. I love it. If I keep going, I probably won't shut up about it. I just loved all of it. Huge thumbs up for character development. Well done. I will say there was one or two moments that happened in the show, in Tyler's arc, but mostly Kinsey's arc, that I really didn't like. There's something that happens at the very end of the show in Kinsey's arc that in my mind does not make sense with her character or what happened. That was the only situation where that really played a part and bothered me. CG. There wasn't a ton of CG. There was some, but it wasn't like, it didn't pull you out of the TV show. You weren't like, oh, it's not believable. It's like, well, I don't really know what it would look like in this case. But they didn't rely heavily on CG to make this TV show. It seems like they budgeted where they needed to, and they did a good job of spreading it out. So CG gets a thumbs up. And finally, rewatchability. I have watched Locke Key twice. The first time I was able to predict part of what happened at the end. The second time, I completely forgot. I don't know what happened in between the two times I watched it. It is such an entertaining show, and the second season comes out this year. So I feel like a lot of people are going to go back and rewatch it, and I myself am a huge fan of the show. It's super creative. It's super fun to watch. It's super original. Big fan of the show. I would probably say that I would watch it again. Even though I've already watched it twice. So it is definitely rewatchable, and I gotta give a thumbs up to that. So after having watched this TV show twice and really enjoyed it both times and paid more attention to certain things, I'd have to give this TV show a 9 out of 10. Overall, this TV show is amazing. I really like it. I really like where it's going. I do have some questions, and those questions I feel like might be answered in the second season. And so I'm very excited for the second season to come out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Season 2 of Locke Key is coming to Netflix this October. So if you want to, go back and watch Locke Key. In the comments below, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if I hit the nail on the head, or if you were like, you kind of missed it. Let me know if there's any TVs or shows that you would like me to watch through and rate and talk about and kind of dissect, and let you know what I think about it. And I appreciate all of you who are watching the video and just spending time seeing what I have to say about stuff. Love you guys and gals, and I'll see you in the next video.